So Philly and the surrounding areas always are littered with the most random spots, but this one in particular is like one of those ones that have withstood the test of time. And a BMXer had actually introduced me to this spot like when I was in high school. It is literally a quarter pipe that is, let's be fair, it's very steep and there's not much you can do with it. But the fact that it's there next to a building or like a bank or whatever it was, it had, I don't know what purpose it could have served for them to put that in there other than to skate. It's been there for about like probably 30 plus years. For the last 15, 20, I don't even think it's been occupied for the most part. And for a lot of that time, this place is completely unskateable. They used to have a big patch in front of it where they put like bricks and grass and like flowers and everything on it, so you would drive by it and like not even know the quarter pipe even existed anymore. And actually for the longest time we had thought they had just taken it out completely and just replaced it with, you know, said planter. Sometime along the times somebody decided to unearth it in like a Jurassic Park kind of way, like Indiana Jones uncovered the Temple of Doom head in a way, and it was like completely cleared out one day. The ground was bondoed. It became a quarter pipe spot again. I felt like this go around, it was much less of a anticipation of getting kicked out, whereas back in the day you used to go there and it was like sometimes open. You would never have a chance to realistically skate it. We had went back here and, you know, just messed around on it back in like 2018, 2019 when we first found it again. And it's just one of those places where it's an East Coast spot. Like you got the really beveled, really terrible rocky ground with pebbles that are kicked up every time you push your skate up to it, with rocks just going into your frames. You got to jump up to a rugged curb, which is the most like luxury thing, and then up another curb to, you know, ease onto this horrible brick. And then not only that, you get up to this quarter pipe that's super steep, so it kind of like shoots you a little bit. A recently fixed brick edge, but I'm going to show you how it looked like before. It was literally, it looked like gravel was pretty much on the top of the quarter pipe. And actually on the old clips you can see it too, where he's pretty much stalling on nothing, but like what was once a quarter pipe edge in a way, or like a roll-in edge. So we used to skate it where it was like just, you know, you pretty much couldn't do anything. And I remember, it's like, what could you really do? Air that, do whatever. And I remember I went there in big wheels. And this is when I had like lost a lot of faith in aggressive skates in like 2019 or whatever era that was. And I wasn't sure what I was going to skate anymore, because it was like, I didn't like the original them. I didn't like I didn't want to skate Colts based on principle. And there was really nothing like I like was, you know, I need to go buy those skates anymore. So I remember I tried these rollerblade rec skates and the wheels were fantastic. So I made it like kind of fun to do stuff for a little bit, where they kind of felt like, you know, I was doing something fun, but I always like hated how they felt on my feet. But I was able to skate this spot like a little bit better than I would in like a normal like you know, 56 millimeter, 59 millimeter base frame. I had 80 millimeter. So I had 80 millimeter wheels skating this spot, which like made it much easier and like kind of fun. But you know, like skating on bigger wheels is like a little bit more unstable, especially with like landing low, how I land. But I was able to do the quarter pipe out and actually wall ride and land back in, and it was just funny because it's like, damn, you can actually do like tricks with the bigger wheels a lot easier. And like I was able to, like, if you could see, I can use my feet to like carve it and like come up and hit it around it. And it was just one of those ones like, oh wow, you know, that's probably the best trick I'll ever do in a big wheel skate. I also like looked at it as like I wouldn't use that in like my part. If I was to make a part, like I would have to go redo the clip obviously. Later on we were just, you know, we're filming for Dyno 4 and we decided to go back there. And I remember we just like went back there to like just mess around with it, and I just like had the idea. I was like, you know, I did that in big wheel skates. I don't even remember. I think I posted on Instagram maybe. So let me see if I could do it again. And I remember I went back and I had anti-rocker, so it was just like, but a brand new wheel setup. So it was like, you know, I had a little bit going for me right here. And it was like the first couple goes I'm trying, I'm like, how the fuck did I do this? It's like I need those wheels, I need that speed to be able to like take it and boost out of it. It's one of those grimy spots. You can see just, you know, how rough it is up close. It's one of those ones you fall on it, it's gonna rip your pants, it's gonna rip your arms. You had to really watch out for it, because also the quarter pipe, like it goes directly into a door, so you're like kind of bypassing a door, which is why you can't hit it like from an angle and then curve in like a snake. But I've seen skateboarders when they lose their board just going slamming into the door, so they actually have like wooden protections like on the bottom of the edges to protect the glass. And just crazy. Even some of the papers in here from like 2002 or, you you know, the 2000s, and seeing how old, like, residents across the street kicked this out. But I also just witnessed 2 skateboarders skate there last week for more than a couple hours, where they were just filming, lights out, whole 9 yards. It's like on the way out in a way, but if you were just splunking in that area, you would never ever see that spot. Really in Yeadon, which is right on the cusp of West Philly, which is right near 59th and Baltimore. But even that, it's like you would have to like crisscross applesauce like all around just to get like near that spot. So, you know, shout out to the bikers back in the day to put me onto that. And like for me, just like randomly remembering about it. And then also skateboarders later in life, they came back and they definitely put in the work to fix that spot. That has zero reason to be here, but it's unique. You know, you don't see anything like that. So it's a cool photo spot. Cool clip for it's just something different for us. It's really out of the ordinary. And I'm even thinking back in like skate videos, like how many places are like that. Bad ground, cool spot, cool area, and it's right next to Philly, so you really can't miss it. As a kid, you got into Philly, and you know, we always would end up at Drexel University, first stop no matter what, because we would get off at 30th Street Station and we would just take that skate right over to turf rails. For those who remember turf rails, this is on board with Mecca of last week with in terms of like, you know, our love park. I would say every crew that took a train or a bus to Philadelphia damn near met at Turf Field at like 10 a.m. every Saturday. That shit was absolutely crazy. Just to think in my head like how many people I have met in my life there that have skated and I've known for years after that. And also like the amount of time I would spend there like just to end our nights. The meetup spot, and it would also be like the finale spot because it was right near all the trains. We would all be waiting there around like 9:30, 10 o'clock because the last trains out of Philly were like 10 o'clock, 10:30. The turf fields, they were basically these line ledges and these rails that were in lines, and they were in all the old videos. The ledges curved outwards. It was stupid that we would even like to skate it, and it's just like it was a reverse curve ledge, so no matter what you did, you had to like kind of grind it and like lean your body all the way into it and like really give into it. So it would mess you up a little bit and you would also miss tricks, but in a way, looking back, it really helped us because it made you really learn how to do the trick and like do it in an awkward position or like really controlled position because they angled the wrong way. So you had to really do the trick like properly. The middle ledge is my favorite ledge, and then followed by the one on the right. Everybody skated the second level ledge for a long time, and then even the third one with help from a table, which I'll remember one time I was skating all the way back from the grass area and I went to jump on the table and the whole table snapped and I fell through the table. At this point they had caps on certain part of the ledges, and I remember I hit my shoulder on the cap because we were skating the ledge above it. And I remember that was just a life-altering event where I was just like, yeah, that could have been way worse than it was. Turf, a lot of pain. The curve rails, they were made of these like skinny aluminum. Some parts of them, like they had the links like kind of missing, so they were like, you know, it would be railed and like link connector part that you would hit over, then like a dick at the end of the rail. They were kind of scary, and they also curved like this every time. So people would mainly hit the one in the middle at the top, and then the right one, and then there was like a third one from the left. I think that was the best one because there was a really shaky one that got fucked up for a long time, and then Shooter went up the one that was to the right of that. I remember that was like as a kid, like you're skating those things like your handrails. They were terrifying rails, like come to think of it. I remember Ross Anthony, I believe, tore his urethra on the end of the rail, the dick on the rail, which, you know, he didn't make it the reason, but you can definitely give it some credentials why he tore his urethra on the dick of the rail. You know, you do the math. This was the ultimate hang spot, and to see it now, like even when I drove by it, like it's been out of commission for a long time because it used to be just completely open. Then they put these giant gates around the thing around 2005 to keep us out of there. There's still ways to get us in there. Like we would go in there with the gates in there because people would swipe us in. There's really no way to stop us. And then at one point they finally did it where you had to have like a Drexel key card, and they had like people literally waiting outside there, so you could not skate there anymore. And to be honest with you, the ledges got crusty, the rails got crusty, and let's face it, we got older, we realized there's better spots. But, you know, to look at it, you know, through the cage for a while, but then to drive by and see like it's a completely different building now. And that's what's kind of sad about like this part of the series with the Drexel. It's like I don't have more, you know, in-person footage of the old spots. It's just they're non-existent. So you got Turf Ledge, that was our famous starting spot. Then you got the Drexel 14 and the kink rail, where historical tricks on there. Sean's topsoul 360 topsoul. The 14 stair, that was at Drexel, which I'll never forget Pun, who recently passed away this past year. Rest in peace, that guy. He used to always be one of those guys that was always out on that Saturday session back in the day, and he would always skate that horrible 14 stair rail. And kudos to him, because he would absolutely destroy it, especially if anybody remembers skating with him back in the day. He was the guy with the big clothes. He was always down to skate. I remember him killing that rail. I remember a lot of people killing that rail. I remember Sean 360 sweating that rail for the Words, or what video was that? Words? Was it the Words bonus video? He does 360 sweaty, but like a weird detail, which this is why like a lot of people gotta have these things. He 360 sweated that in Mike Elias's skates. Mike Elias took them off because they were taking a photo. So they needed white skates. There was some reason why he had to skate his skates, but I remember he put his skates on and did it in his skates, which is a wild tidbit that for some reason should be talked about more. But that was another two that now it's just like these giant, like, I think it's a gym now. I actually played basketball in there maybe like 10 years ago with somebody. So I believe it's a gym now, and that's been gone for over like 14, 15 years. It's like those two spots right there. It'd be like, you know, turf, you go to 14, and then you would cruise on into the Mecca spot, and then sadly are gone. And like even if you cruise up like to where West Philly High was, it's just this giant apartment building now where it used to be a giant high school. West Philly High is another one of the spots where they had the legendary drop rails. They had the legendary kink rail that was in the back, which was terrible, but Judd did a gap to grind on it. John Schmidt Hurricane top sold it. And then the front of it is where I'll never forget Victor Arias doing front torque to alley-oop sole on the ledge, then rewinding over the ledge to forward, which was like a pretty high drop. And I don't even think that was in anything. I remember Morgan Ashcom, I believe it was filming it when they had all those guys out there. Dude, it was like, that was the one time when I saw Victor Arias in person, I was like, yo, this dude's fucking amazing. I know, you know he's amazing, but like seeing it like on like your home spots is just like, wow. Also the front is where I did the 360 roll and a half cab roll from way back. Had a sequence that Andrew Niemirowski shot of me back in the day. And these started videos, these were in the old VGs. This was a very historical video spot. There was so much done. Sean 7 over to, I could talk for hours about West Philly High, but the basis of that was like, I never thought this would ever go away. It was like a gigantic school, and just to see it completely replaced, like that area is completely unrecognizable from what it used to be. And then right up the street was the old shop, Neglected Truth, and that was in there since like 2004 on. Box jams, countless meetups, video premieres, tours would come through just to see like what it is today. It's just a whole vacant, you know, street of old businesses and, you know, places where literally like there would be tons of skaters standing outside watching a video, like outside of the shop. And, you know, it's like you don't realize how quick the future comes and how short those times really are, but, you know, smile that they happen in a way. The last spot I went to that's actually the one spot that has no business being here still is the Peco ledge. It's essentially this drop ledge on the right side. It was marble, and it used to have a completely clear run up to where you can like skate right up to it and hit it no problem. 2000s, you know, you'd always get kicked out of there no matter what. They decided to put these planters on there to where you had to hit it like either you had to start from the window, or you had to like carve, the typical Philly spot, you had to carve, cut, you know, hope to grind like straight, make it look good, and take a drop. But a lot of things people don't know about this ledge. It's like, it's not the smooth marble. It was marble, but it was gritty and like really rough, and there was like cracks in it that really caught you up. And then really at the end there was this real giant crack, which I'll film and like show you, where it was like, it made the ledge like extend up, and you would always hit it no matter what. That's why there were people that went off the end, but it would like fuck you up for the most part. Like one of those ones I always thought would be capped before everything else, because they capped the little handrails, which you can see all those handrails that were right there. They used to be skatable, believe it or not, and they were actually kind of fun. Like looking back, like we probably would skate those today, and we were like laugh at them back in the day, like they were too small. But like look at skating today, that people would 100% like get down on that and probably enjoy it, because the optics are a lot different than what they were back in the day. This ledge, I remember I got this clip of Jensen doing a full cap Shimizu. I remember he would always joke about doing this, and it's probably one of the better tricks ever done on it. Besides, like, I believe Chris Bellotti might have true top sold it. You know what? I don't even think anybody ever backslid it now that I think about it, but it's like, would you want to hit that crack and fall backwards? That's a sketchy ledge now that I think about it. One of those ones where it's like, you think it'd be really fun, like, in hindsight. And then it used to be right down the street from the Forum adult theater, so you would see people coming in and out of there also when you were skating it, which is pretty funny for the 11 minutes that you would get to skate it before security would kick you out. Peco Ledge, Philadelphia, the power capital of Pennsylvania, pretty much. But if you enjoyed this little trip down memory lane, if you enjoyed these, 62% of my viewers are not subscribed. So if you can do me a favor and hit the subscribe button right down there, maybe leave a comment, leave a like, maybe tell me sometimes you skate at these spots, maybe if you want me to go to a certain spot or go see if a certain spot is still there, I can do that. Just drop a comment and just go watch the stuff. But appreciate y'all taking the time to watch. Till next time.